Hello and welcome back to the Project Hercules Diaries. Quick update on today's activities. You can probably see from here I fitted the crankcase breather and I've also fitted the Dynastart since the last video. I'll start with the Dynastart because that was a bit of a job. The original Dynastart and chain assembly and the chain tensioner was set up for the other engine, the dummy engine, which had a dummy mandrel to bolt this sprocket in. And while that was a really good approximation, the sprocket on the real crank is just a little bit further this way. So that meant I had to make two new spaces here and here to move the whole Dynastart over to make sure that the chain that drives the Dynastart when the engine's running, or that the Dynastart uses to start the bike, is running absolutely straight. And if you look from the top of the bike, hopefully you can see that that's a nice straight chain run there. Before the sprocket was probably about a finger's worth further over, a good half an inch further that way, and that just would not do. These are cast iron, so these spaces do need to be quite critically sized. Otherwise, if you tighten this up and there's a bit of slack in here, you just crack this straight across there, and we wouldn't want to do that. I probably do need at some point to put something in here to protect people's fingers so we don't rip them off, or possibly my fingers, but that's not top of the list at the moment. So I'm very happy with the Dynastart. If I did connect a 12-volt battery to this, it would try and turn the motor, but I'm not going to do that or even think about doing that until I've sorted out the oil feed pipes and sorted that oil flow to the pump and got some oil in it. Once there's oil in it, then I can connect the Dynastart and start turning over the engine. Just make sure everything is happy. Okay, what else have we done? We've done the crankcase breather here. So the crankcase breather is in. The Goodrich hose has been fitted, and isn't that tricky stuff to work with? I don't know if you've ever worked with Goodrich hose, but yeah, it's a bit of a pain to do. Lots of bits of wire sticking in your finger. So that goes up there to a top bracket that I've just come off the front of the cylinder head for that. Not entirely happy with that, because although aesthetically, when you stand back, I think it looks quite attractive, it's not as firm as I would have liked it to be. If you can still give it a bit of a waggle. So I'll probably remake this and remake it a bit like the brackets that hold the coils on, so you've got two bolts that actually grab the pipe, and then it's less likely to move. I don't think it's a problem, but it'd be all right certainly for starting the engine and just testing it. But when it comes to riding it down the road and doing the first 20,000 miles or so, I'll probably remake that bracket for doing that. I've taken the one-way valve out of here because it was really difficult to turn the engine over with the one-way valve in. The one-way valve is quite small, so it doesn't let that much air out. And even when the valve was open, venting this to the atmosphere, as the piston descended, there was a lot of pressure build-up in this crankcase here, and you could feel it when you're turning the engine. And I think when the one-way valve closes as the piston ascends and it sucks it back in, it's nice to have a bit of negative pressure inside here to help with oil leaks. But I think that would also stop any oil that's managed to find its way up into this pipe from returning into the crankcases. And I wouldn't want this pipe to start filling up with oil as you're riding along and then start spewing hot oil into the top of the head, or worse, all over my trousers, because Mother would moan and she wouldn't like that at all. So I've taken the one-way valve out. That makes it much easier to turn the engine, and I think realistically there will be some misty oil coming out of here, but it's going through a 90-degree bend. It's coming a long way up this pipe, and I don't think it's going to be a problem with oil misting at the top, but we will see, won't we? So that's what we've been up to today. There won't be any more updates this weekend because I've got other things to do, but as usual, thank you for watching, and more updates will follow.